turning 40 is an important milestone in life. At this age, we begin to reassess ourselves, reflect on the past, and look toward the future. Our understanding of life deepens during this time. Plato once said that the world we perceive is merely a reflection of higher truths. Today, through Plato's philosophy, we will explore the life truths that can only be truly understood after the age of 40. Part 1: Plato's allegory of the cave and life's awakening. In his work The Republic, Plato presents the famous allegory of the cave. In this allegory, he describes a group of people who have been imprisoned in a dark cave since childhood, their arms and legs bound by chains, forcing them to face the cave wall. Behind them, a fire burns, casting shadows on the wall from objects outside their view. These shadows are mere projections of real objects from the outside world. However, for these prisoners, the shadows represent their entire reality. Having never seen the actual objects, they cannot comprehend that these shadows are mere illusions. Through this allegory, Plato expresses his views on human knowledge and perception. He argues that what we perceive through our senses is only a superficial representation of reality. True knowledge and truth exist in a realm beyond sensory experience, which he calls the world of forms. The prisoners in the cave symbolize those who rely solely on sensory experiences, trapped by illusions and unable to see the true essence of things. However, when one prisoner breaks free from his chains and exits the cave, he realizes that the world outside is real, while the shadows in the cave are mere illusions. He undergoes a transformation from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge. Though this process is painful, it ultimately leads to awakening and true understanding. After turning 40, many of us experience a similar awakening. In our younger years, we are often absorbed in pursuing fame, wealth, and status, believing these to be the most important things in life. We may think that success in our careers, social standing, and material wealth are the standards by which life's value is measured. These external achievements are like the shadows in Plato's cave, capturing our attention and making us believe that they represent the entirety of life. However, as we age, we gradually come to realize that these pursuits are merely shadows, surface-level goals, and illusory satisfactions. After 40, many people undergo an internal shift that prompts them to reassess their priorities and life goals. We start to recognize that what truly matters is inner peace, healthy relationships with others, and a deep understanding of self-worth and life's meaning. At this stage in life, we may discover that everything we once chased did not bring lasting satisfaction or happiness. While fame and wealth can provide temporary pleasure, they do not fulfill deeper emotional or spiritual needs. We begin to understand that what truly brings fulfillment are intangible yet essential aspects of life, such as deep and genuine relationships with family and friends, personal growth, and a more profound understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Through the allegory of the cave, Plato conveys an important message. Only by transcending the superficial world can we attain true knowledge and wisdom. Similarly, after turning 40, we begin to realize that many things in life that once seemed important are merely surface-level concerns. We no longer rely solely on external validation, but instead focus more on our inner world, seeking inner peace and fulfillment. This awakening process may not be easy, just as the prisoner in Plato's allegory is initially blinded by the sunlight when he first steps out of the cave. When we begin to question everything we've pursued for decades, this reflection can bring pain or even confusion. However, this pain is part of growth. It helps us break free from past illusions and allows us to see a more authentic and essential side of life. Part 2: The Theory of Forms and the Meaning of Life. Plato's theory of forms is one of the central tenets of his philosophy. According to this theory, the physical world we perceive is not the true reality, but rather a reflection of the world of forms. Plato believed that beyond our sensory experiences exists a realm of perfect, timeless, and unchanging forms. These forms represent the essence of all things, while what we see in the physical world are merely imperfect copies. For example, when we see a horse, what we perceive is the specific physical manifestation of that horse. However, in Plato's view, this horse is merely an imperfect representation of the perfect form of horse. In other words, every horse in the physical world is a flawed copy of the ideal form of a horse. Each horse has its unique characteristics, but they all derive from the same perfect form of horse. Through this theory, Plato addressed the famous philosophical issue known as the problem of universals, which asks why we can recognize commonalities among different individual objects. For instance, although every table differs in shape, size, and color, we can still categorize them all as tables. This is because they all partake in the form of table. Plato argued that these concrete objects are transient and constantly changing, while forms are eternal and unchanging. After turning 40, we begin to realize that many things in life are not as perfect as they appear on the surface. In our younger years, we often strive for a perfect life or a perfect career, believing that achieving these goals will bring lasting happiness and fulfillment. However, as time goes on, we gradually understand that such pursuits are often unrealistic. Whether it's career success, family life, or personal achievements, everything in reality is subject to uncertainty and change. Plato's theory of forms reminds us that everything in the physical world is an imperfect reflection. In our youth, we may be inclined to chase external success and material satisfaction. But after 40, we start to recognize that these pursuits are merely attachments to shadows. What truly matters is understanding the essence behind things and finding our own inner balance and fulfillment. Plato believed that only through rational thought and philosophical inquiry could we come closer to understanding these eternal and perfect forms. This pursuit of the world of forms is akin to life's quest for truth and wisdom. After turning 40, we begin to think more deeply about life's meaning. We no longer settle for superficial success or fleeting pleasures, but instead focus more on our inner pursuit of truth, goodness, and virtue. This shift marks a kind of maturity, a transition from focusing on the external world to exploring the inner one. This shift occurs not only on a personal level but also in how we view others and society. In our younger years, we may be swayed by others' opinions or seek social approval or fame. However, as we age, we gradually realize that external judgments do not define our worth. Plato emphasized that what truly matters is our internal understanding of goodness and virtue, not how others perceive us. After turning 40, we learn to view life's imperfections with greater tolerance. We come to accept uncertainty in life and learn how to live with it. This acceptance is not about compromise but about wisdom, a realization that everything in the physical world is temporary and imperfectly reflected. What is truly eternal and worth pursuing lies beyond the material world and exists on a spiritual level. Plato also pointed out that true knowledge does not come from sensory experience but through rational thought. He believed that the sensory world is full of change and illusion, while only through reason can one access eternal truths. This idea becomes especially relevant in life after 40. At this stage, we begin to transcend sensory desires and instant gratification, focusing more on spiritual growth and intellectual development. In our youth, we may be drawn to immediate temptations such as wealth, power, or status. However, over time, we gradually realize that while these things can provide temporary satisfaction, they cannot offer lasting happiness. What truly brings fulfillment are intangible yet essential aspects like inner peace, healthy relationships with others, and a deeper understanding of self-worth and life's meaning. In summary, Plato's theory of forms offers us a new perspective, one that allows us to view life in a deeper and more philosophical way. After turning 40, we begin to realize that many things in life are not as important or perfect as they seem on the surface. We learn to let go of relentless pursuits for external success or material wealth and instead focus on our inner world, spiritual growth, and an ongoing search for truth and wisdom. This awakening helps us better understand ourselves while enabling us to face life's challenges with greater maturity and calmness. As Plato suggested, what truly matters lies beyond the material world: goodness, beauty, truth, and a deeper understanding of ourselves and others at their most authentic levels. Part 3: Time and Wisdom, Insights After 40. A central concept in Plato's philosophy is the idea that knowledge is not acquired through learning but is instead a process of recollecting wisdom that already exists within the soul. This idea stems from his theory of recollection, which posits that the human soul, before birth, had already encountered the good and truth. However, upon birth into the material world, this knowledge becomes obscured. Through philosophical reflection and self-examination, humans can gradually awaken this inner wisdom and rediscover truth and goodness. Plato's idea offers a profound perspective on the relationship between time and wisdom. In our youth, we often view time as an inexhaustible resource, believing that the future holds endless possibilities and opportunities. We may squander significant amounts of time on meaningless entertainment, trivial arguments, or unimportant relationships, neglecting the people and things that truly deserve our attention and energy. We are easily drawn to the noise of the external world, chasing fleeting pleasures and instant gratification, rarely pausing to reflect on what is truly worth pursuing in the long term. However, after turning 40, we begin to recognize the preciousness of time. As the years pass, we gradually realize that time is not an infinite resource but a finite and irreversible one. Each day, each hour is valuable because it can never be reclaimed. This awareness of time's limitations prompts us to reassess our lifestyle and priorities. we become less willing to waste time on trivial matters and more focused on those life goals that can bring true happiness and fulfillment. This awakening to the finiteness of time also makes us cherish the moments we spend with family and friends more deeply. In our younger years, we may have neglected family or close relationships due to work or other external pressures. However, after turning 40, we begin to realize that what truly matters are the people who stand by us through life's ups and downs, the ones who offer support and care during our most challenging times. We learn to let go of unnecessary social connections and focus on nurturing meaningful relationships that provide emotional support. Plato believed that wisdom does not come from external sources, but is instead a process of recollecting the wisdom already present within the soul. This idea resonates deeply after turning 40 because this stage of life often brings about an awakening not due to some major external event, but through a process of internal reflection and realization. We begin to ask ourselves, what is truly important? Have I been chasing superficial success while neglecting what my heart truly desires? This reflection leads us to gradually realize that some of the goals we pursued in the past may not have brought lasting satisfaction. In our younger years, we may have sacrificed health, family, or personal happiness for career success. But after turning 40, we start to recognize that these sacrifices were not worth it. What truly brings lasting happiness is inner peace, healthy relationships, and a deeper understanding of self-worth and life's meaning. This awakening does not happen overnight, but comes through experience, reflection, and the passage of time. In our youth, we are often driven by external forces, pursuing goals that seem to validate our worth. However, as we grow older and experience more of life's ups and downs, witnessing success and failure, gain and loss, these experiences gradually teach us that external validation cannot define our value. Instead, what truly matters is how we view ourselves and how we find inner balance in this journey. Plato emphasized that through philosophical inquiry, humans could awaken the wisdom within their souls. Similarly, after turning 40, we begin to awaken our understanding of life's meaning through self-reflection. This wisdom does not come from books or others' teachings, but emerges as an insight gained through personal experience and inner exploration. After turning 40, we also gain a clearer understanding of life's finitude. This awareness of life's brevity makes us cherish each present moment more deeply. We no longer dwell excessively on the past nor worry too much about the future. We learn to live in the present moment, fully enjoying life's experiences while also gaining a clearer sense of what we want and don't want in life. This clarity allows us to live with greater purpose without being distracted by trivial matters. Plato believed that humans inherently possess knowledge of the good, but this knowledge becomes obscured over time. After turning 40, this pursuit of the good becomes clearer again. We begin to focus more on spiritual growth rather than material wealth or external achievements, seeking instead an ongoing exploration of truth, goodness, and virtue from within. Plato's ideas about knowledge and wisdom provide us with a unique perspective on time and wisdom in life. After turning 40, we begin to recognize time's limitations, a realization that prompts us to reassess our life goals and priorities. Through experience and reflection, we gradually awaken the wisdom already present within us, learning to cherish the present moment while focusing on life goals that bring lasting happiness and fulfillment. Part 4: Kindness and Tolerance, the Great Wisdom of Life. In Plato's philosophical system, he emphasizes the supreme importance of the good. He believed that all forms of existence ultimately stem from the good, a perfect and eternal entity beyond the material world. In the Republic, Plato compares the good to the sun, just as the sun illuminates the physical world, allowing us to see the essence of things. The good illuminates our souls, enabling us to understand truth and virtue. Therefore, the pursuit of the good is not only central to philosophical inquiry, but also the most important goal in life. Throughout life's journey, the pursuit of kindness is not merely a matter of personal moral cultivation, but also a crucial path to a happy life. Plato believed that kindness is not just an external display of behavior, but an inner pursuit of the good. By practicing kindness, we can build deep relationships with others and achieve inner peace and fulfillment. This peace does not come from external recognition or material wealth, but from an inner alignment with justice, goodness, and virtue. After turning 40, we gradually realize that the most important things in life are tolerance and kindness. In our younger years, we may have felt anger or engaged in endless arguments over others' opinions or actions. We often sought to prove ourselves right or tried to change others' views to align with our own values. However, as we age, we begin to understand that everyone has their own unique experiences and perspectives. These differences do not necessarily mean right or wrong, but are instead a reflection of life's diversity. As time goes on, we learn to tolerate others' differences and face life's challenges with a broader mindset. Tolerance is not a sign of weakness or compromise, but rather a manifestation of wisdom. It means that we can understand others' positions even if we disagree with their viewpoints. Tolerance allows us to let go of past grievances and stop getting caught up in meaningless arguments, instead focusing on what truly matters in life. Plato believed that only by understanding the good can we truly achieve inner peace and fulfillment. This understanding does not happen overnight, but is a form of wisdom gradually developed through continuous reflection and practice. When we learn to be tolerant and kind to others, we are actually moving closer to the good, as tolerance and kindness are essential pathways to truth and virtue. After turning 40, we begin to focus more on inner growth, no longer distracted by the noise of the external world. We learn to accept life's imperfections and understand that everyone has their limitations. Through this understanding, we become more tolerant of others' flaws and more compassionate toward ourselves. As Plato said, when we pursue the good, only then can we truly find inner peace. In our younger years, we may feel anger or even hold grudges against others for their mistakes. But as we age, we gradually realize that holding on to resentment only harms ourselves without changing anything. On the contrary, by forgiving others, we can release the emotional burden and gain emotional freedom. Forgiveness is not about excusing others' actions, but about self-liberation. It allows us to move past unpleasant experiences and no longer be trapped by negative emotions. Plato emphasized that pursuing the good means transcending personal interests and short-term desires in favor of higher life goals. Similarly, after turning 40, we begin to realize that true happiness comes from actions that go beyond self-interest, serving others and contributing to society. By practicing kindness and forgiveness, we not only help others but also elevate our own character and achieve higher levels of life fulfillment. After turning 40, we also start placing greater emphasis on cooperation and mutual benefit with others. In our younger years, we may have been more inclined toward competition, hoping to prove our abilities by defeating rivals. However, as we grow older, we gradually recognize that truly meaningful relationships are built on cooperation and mutual support rather than competition or confrontation. By working with others, we can achieve greater goals together while gaining more friendship and support along the way. Plato believed that human society should be founded on justice and goodness, with each person contributing to the collective good. Similarly, after turning 40, we begin to realize that personal happiness cannot be achieved by focusing solely on our own interests. Only when we learn to care for others and contribute to society can we truly realize our self-worth, and in doing so, find inner fulfillment. Plato's philosophy on the good offers us an important life lesson. Pursuing kindness and tolerance is not only part of personal development but also a crucial path toward a happy life. After turning 40, we gradually learn to embrace others' differences with a broader and more compassionate mindset when facing life's challenges. By practicing kindness, forgiveness, and cooperation, we not only help others but also elevate ourselves, ultimately achieving higher levels of life fulfillment.